Hey everybody, I'm Lee with Olsen Equine, and I hope you're having a great day, because I am, because today we are with two-time world champion Clay Smith. So today we're getting your horses ready to go to the NFR, and I just thought it'd be interesting to talk about, like, what does it look like getting ready for the NFR, and then also, how do you shoe an NFR head horse? So tell us, what's it look like?
So I mean, for me, I've got that's what we was talking about. I have, NFR horses I'm going to ride at the finals, and then I've got some that are, I'm hoping to, there's one in particular I'm kind of bringing in there that I'm going to ride and rope and run through, and then Chief, the bay horse that you've shot forever, he's kind of my main horse right now, Clay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I've got the Yellow Mare Promise that I'm super excited about. I tested her out at Charlie's roping at the NFR deal. She seems to be like she could handle it, and she's kind of the future for me, and so I'm trying to keep her, do a little NFR practice on her, but not too much, because I feel like when they're young, if you trap them inside those buildings so early, it makes it kind of, they get to dreading it a little bit. So like, right. I want to keep them thinking about jackpotting, and I even do that on Chief. Like, I'm going to take Chief and jackpot on him a little bit before the finals. To me, I don't mind setting the arena up and roping some if my head horse feels like he's weak, or in spots where I need him to come up the wall and face. I might want to set the arena and rope in there more, but if they feel strong to the horn, they face good, then most of the time I want to think about them chasing the steer and going out the front, because it keeps momentum, and that's the key in that building, is right. Keeping momentum going out the front.
So for the folks that don't know, what he's talking about is setting up a Thomas and Mack sized arena, and so what you're saying is that it's important to practice in that, but it's hard on your horses.
Correct. Yeah, you don't want to run, you don't run 30 steers on the horse that you're taking in that deal. I mean, they'll be so tight. When I say tight, I mean, move the saddle horn, because they know that they got to get pulling up the wall. And so as soon as you do that, if they start wanting to pull up the wall, right. It's kind of a tricky deal. It's like you want them to be able to pull, right. But they don't need to know that they can pull. And so I'll set it up if I think my horses are weak to get them to, and I'll rope lighter steers. If I feel like my horse is not going to pull and face up the wall, I'll rope lighter steers in a short, narrow arena and let them really think they pull undally and kind of let them go up the wall. But this year, the two horses I'm taking don't seem to have the problem. Like, they're going to be plenty strong. So really, I don't want to practice in that confined area very much, because that's not their problem right now.
For sure, absolutely. So what's your practice look like? You getting lots of reps in, as many as possible, or what are you doing?
So that's another thing we was talking about, is like, I have a couple practice horses, you would say, that I don't mind running, 10 to 15, a day on. But my practice has changed over the years. I mean, I grew up roping, till my arm couldn't stand no more, and then right. I kept roping after that. But now I've tried to get together. The most important thing about practicing before you go anywhere, especially in FR, it seems like, is having realistic steers and having the practice horse be realistic. And so, I see it happen a lot of times, and I'm not saying, young guys, they need to figure out how to ride different horses and figure out how to ride the ones that's not very good, and that helps your riding. But then it comes to a point to where it can also hinder you. Right. If you ride junk every day, it's hard to ride a junky horse if you have a nice horse, and then it's two totally different feels. And so my practice horse, my practice horse is almost as important as my horse that I'm taking, just because it needs to be a realistic feel. Right. And if it's not a realistic feel, then I don't think you're really getting anything out of it. And so absolutely, I try to run quality instead of quantity. And I've heard that when I was young. I'm like, that's retarded. That's for old guys. But I guess I'm an old guy. But I just try to run the best quality practice steers and be on a horse, unless I love riding young horses, but that's two separate things. I don't try to get realistic practice on a young horse. Like, I'll rope from a horse.
What would happen if you did throw a young one in the fire, say like your good yellow mare, if you just tortured her a bit?
I think it could go one or two ways. I did it on my gray, Marty. I did it when he was 4 or 5 years old. He got thrown in the fire because I was dumb. I had nothing else, right? And he took it. But it very well could have went the other way, and he could have got sore. He could have mentally not took it. It was just God willing that he did. And probably the reason why I'm here today is he did, is because I was blessed to have a great horse from my early start, in my rodeo career. And so that was a freak deal. But so now now I'm like, I try to protect them and I try to route them in situations where like they gain confidence every time. And so I don't try to just max it to them all the time. Like I may, you know, practicing on them, one day I'll rope my strong steers and not run many, but run my strong steers and try to make realistic runs. And then maybe the next day I run up all my lopers and trotters, see them way out, walk, trot, lope. And so I go back and forth, and awesome. And I try to keep them to where if anything goes wrong, they'll go back and they'll calm down and be good and quiet. Because I feel like if you got that base, they'll never lose it mentally, you know?
Absolutely. Well, being a team roper myself and knowing team ropers, that is a lot of wisdom he just put on us right there. And you were talking about your jackpot horse. You were saying that you've got a very talented jackpot horse and you're about to go rope with your NFR partner today. And he's talking about scoring some clear out there and running them down. Zero to do with your goals at the NFR. I think that's amazing.
To me, I've always thought that, you know, and a lot of guys have different ways, and I guess it's just how it depends on you. For me, I do better getting ready to go to the finals if I go jackpot. Because to me, it's like, if I jackpot and I see a steer way out and I have to hustle and use my, you know, gauge the steer, rope, right, you know, coming in, to me at the NFR, it's like, basically it's like, okay, you're gonna break the barrier every round and rope the steer right here. So it's like, to me, it should be easier. You know, when you go to a jackpot, I haven't been to many jackpots where I tore the barrier down and missed the cow.
Right.
I tear the barrier down, I turn them right there. And so that's what it feels like at the NFR. It's like, you feel like you just need to break the barrier and head the cow right here. And so it actually, when you get done jackpotting, it actually feels easier. It has for me, it seems like, and I mean, I need to do a better job than what I do out there. I'm not saying I've got it mastered by no means, but in my thinking, it helps me to jackpot and do that before I go.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the horse, and I can tell that you are with your respect for them and your horsemanship. So from me and the rest of the public, we say thank you for the example you're setting, because you reach a lot of young versions of us, and we could save a lot of horses if they had your wisdom.
Well, I appreciate it, and this is the guy to keep them all together right here, no doubt.
Well, let's talk about that. So your two horses you're taking is a young yellow mare, and that's the mare you did so good at the fraternities on, right?
Yes, sir.
That is awesome to see horses come from the fraternities that, you know, have got a bad name in the past in other disciplines for ruining horses and not making rodeo horses. And here you are, successful fraternity horse, going as a backup to the NFR, probably going to be your number one next year.
That's what I'm hoping, you know, like I said, God willing, I'm hoping she's kind of going to be the one that takes the spot of my gray, and I can ride. I've got a lot of confidence in her right now, and I in my mind, I went slow on her. Like, I took her to her first open rope, and she was at the end of her 3-year-old year.
Still a little team roper in there.
I still go fast, but I have tried my best to go slow as I can. It's hard when you're smart to, and I'm saying she makes mistakes too.
That's awesome.
They all do, but I'm just saying it's hard to go slow when they want to take it so well. But I'm trying to be patient with her and not throw her. I won the rodeo on her a little bit last year, and I didn't. I've waited, and I'm trying to wait until she's a little older to kind of start mashing her. And so, but we're getting closer, and I'm excited about the future.
That's awesome. And speaking of that, South Dakota native, she is also South Dakota bred. Sunfrost always works. So your other horse, Chief, Clay Cassidy Deans, that sucker's bad to the bone, huh?
Cool horse. Yeah.
He's so fast.
It's unreal how good a horse that is.
And strong and face. That's kind of a rare combo, huh?
He really is. That horse is, I mean, unbelievable. Clay's, you know, lets me ride that horse so much. That horse is a special horse.
Those are good people too.
Really.
So how do you hold them together? So you use Josh Harvey at Outlaw Equine. So he's gonna go through everybody, or
Josh will make sure everything's good, and Josh is out there, and so we kind of got him. He's always on standby. He does a good job. Like I said, I mean, hopefully everything stays together before then, and we're just trying to keep everything in shape, and gonna do some jackpotting a little bit here this week, and then head to Arizona.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about shoeing them. So we shoe a lot of different disciplines here, and in my opinion, no offense to anybody, it's just horseshoe. They're still horses. They all have the same needs, but there's going to be a few things that we're going to do just a little different for your job description. You're not going to have sliders on your head horse, for instance, or you're not going to have a whole bunch of traction on them because they got to get down. So on the front end, a lot of people just lump the whole horse together. Today, if you take anything away from this, I want you to split your horse in half when you're talking about shoeing. Front end has different needs than the back end, because the front end is for steering and the hind end is for propulsion. It's for drive. That's the reason why hind need to have hind shapes. And if they don't, you need to consider shoeing them differently. So the hind end has a spade shape. And believe it or not, a lot of the traction comes by this sinking in the ground like a spade of a shovel. So they get traction because the toe wants to sink in, and when they push off. You want to check my theory? Watch any pulling horse. Their front end will be elevated and they'll be driving off their hind end. Sometimes the front end won't even be on the ground, or a barrel horse leaving the barrel, or a head horse leaving the corner. What do? What's the first thing they do? Come up just a little bit. Right? So pretty simple. The only options really for me on a head horse are a flat shoe. This is Easy Plus by St. Croix, or you can go with the Eventer Plus, which is a fullered through the toe, so it has the rim all the way around with flat heels. Kind of the same setup that we shoe barrel horses with, sometimes with a little more traction, but I found the better horsemen need less traction and less gimmicks in any discipline. So in the front end, this would be our standard go-to shoe, and you can see how much more round it is than the hind shoe. So hind and front. So the difference is this is turning. So it actually needs mechanics in the shoe. And this is the Eventer Plus. Works on pretty much any rodeo horse, but if you need more mechanics, like a lot of quarter horses do, maybe they have crooked legs, or maybe they have pathologies such as navicular or tendon issues. So this is the Equilibrium Roller by Mustad, and it is similar to the Natural Balance, but in my opinion it's better because you can actually shape the toe. But it's the same thing. So it just is proactive. If you've got a horse with long toe, low heels, this makes it easier for them to get their foot off the ground and creates a shorter toe while still being able to fit the end of the toe and not set it way back or be harmful like some things are. But that's my thing. Basic fundamentals. Front end is different from the back end. Front end needs mechanics. Hind end needs propulsion. So nothing too crazy on the head horse needs. Other than that, unless they have pathologies, then you're talking pads, wedges, etc., etc. But this is where it should start. So, anything else before we wrap up?
Love it. Just guaranteed when you get done shoeing, I get 10 catches. That's all I need.
Just 10. Well, I truly hope you do, and best of luck on the third world title.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You guys have a great day, and God bless America.